Welcome inside another edition of the Neishloss podcast, presented by Neishloss Fleming. I'm your host, as always, Mike Asti, and on this edition of the show, we are going to talk about Humana and what's going on with Humana in one of our big markets. We work heavily down there in Georgia. You'll actually be able to see some Georgia memorabilia behind this guest with the Georgia Bulldogs helmet back there and some signs. He's down there in Georgia and able to really talk about Humana, a major carrier, and what's happening down there. And to have that conversation, we're going to be joined by Rusty Lamb, a broker relationship manager with Humana down there in Georgia, especially that Atlanta area. So first off, Rusty, how you doing? I like the Georgia helmet back there. I like that little sign. Are you a Georgia alum? Are you UGA alum?
I live in the greater Athens area, Mike. I'm not a graduate of Georgia. I went to Georgia State University.
Gotcha.
My daughter went to Georgia, and I'm firmly a Bulldog. I live in a place called the Georgia Club, which is named after the University of Georgia. So all I can say is go Dogs.
Okay, we'll get it started that way with a go Dogs. And already in that mindset of college football. We're not yet into the summer, but college football already in the mind. So we'll get there before you know it. Yeah, we can see that Georgia helmet there. So any Georgia fans, you'll like this show. And if not, oh well. But Rusty Lamb joining us here, broker manager with Humana down there in Georgia. And also want to remind you guys, hit up the subscribe button bottom of this video. It'll help us get all of our content to you. It's free to do so. Hit that subscribe button and also find us all throughout social media, Neishloss Fleming on LinkedIn, Facebook, even Instagram at Neishloss_Fleming. And of course, right here on this YouTube channel. So Rusty, to get underway, Humana is a major carrier, as I said. There's a brand name, there's tons of footing, certainly in that major market, and there's a well-developed portfolio of plans, because the brand can only take you so far. Humana is offering a lot, a well-developed portfolio of plans down there in Georgia. What are a couple plans that really jump out, that really stand out, that agents need to be aware of, and separate from a needs analysis, have really been popular in terms of growth amongst Humana down there in Georgia?
Well, you're exactly right, Mike. I mean, the Humana portfolio of zero premium HMO and PPO products have really resonated not only among our agents, but also the consumers in which they serve. We've experienced great growth in Georgia over the last several years. And over the past year, significant growth in our D-SNP population.
Okay.
And that's Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare, Medicaid plans. And we introduced a new healthy food card for 2021, which helped a lot of seniors with food insecurities. And I think it made our plans even more popular and more sellable. Additionally, in 2021, we introduced a new LIS, or low income subsidy plan. It's been a very big seller with Humana, with really strong mandatory supplemental benefits, including $2,000 in first dollar coverage in dental for both preventative, basic, and major services, including dentures and unlimited extraction. So I would say in that lower income sweet spot, which there's a lot of that in the Atlanta metro area, as well as pockets of Georgia, both the dual SNP population and the LIS population have been big sellers. And they both offer year-round selling opportunity for the agent.
Yeah, and of course, the year-round selling opportunity is a big point that maybe some newer agents aren't aware of. It's not just about AAP, even though that's coming up. Not just college football season in the fall, also AAP, of course, a popular time. But yeah, you want year-round selling opportunities for sure, and Humana is a carrier that deals heavily. Med Advantage, even Med Sup. We've talked about Humana Achieve a lot here on this program, and certainly a major factor on the Sup side. And then, of course, what Rusty's mentioning on the D-SNP side, and you even alluded to some benefits there. So kind of segueing in looking at some of those plans and looking at everything Humana offers and everything I just detailed there in that well-developed portfolio, what are a couple benefits, getting in that nitty-gritty, that really also help make Humana plans stand out? You did mention the healthy food card, but what would be a few other major benefits with these Humana plans?
We've really tried to, Mike, thoughtfully design our plans with really strong extra supplemental benefits. I think that's kind of where plans are oftentimes differentiated from one carrier to another.
Right.
Humana's plans are extremely competitive in the mandatory supplemental benefits area. And I would say dental continues to be probably the most important benefit to seniors. We know understanding that good oral health really is key to good overall health for a person. And so Humana's Dental Medicare network is also a very strong network of dentists throughout the Atlanta area as well as greater Georgia that really supplements our dental plan. So if I had to give you one answer, I would say dental being number one. We had an agent one time come to a focus group meeting, and I think he said it well. It's all about the teeth. And with seniors, it often is all about the teeth.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe I'll steal that phrase. Well, you mentioned the Healthy Food Guard earlier, which is certainly big, and Humana upping that benefit this year from last. That's certainly big for food insecurities, especially during the pandemic. You mentioned dental as one key. What are some others? Because it sounded like you're holding back on a few others. I don't want to restrict you. So any other benefits?
Yeah, no. Well, plans are individually designed, so they have different supplemental benefits. But dental, vision, and hearing continue to be the three core benefits. Our over-the-counter benefit is just very, very strong.
Okay.
Both on the dual SNP as well as our traditional plans. We increased transportation this year to a 75-mile radius for our benefits with transportation benefits. But we really, again, thoughtfully designed our plans to really fit the needs of our population, whether they be individuals who are eligible for both Medicare, Medicaid, or whether they're just a traditional HMO or PPO product. We also have a plan in all 159 counties in Georgia. In 157 out of those 159 counties, we have a zero premium value proposition. So very competitive plans, very dynamic. And if you look at CMS data for at the conclusion of this past AEP, you'll see Humana is capturing a large percentage of the market share. And I think it has a lot to do with those benefits that we've designed. I think our leadership team has done a very, very good job in creating plans that really fit the marketplace.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. We work heavily with Humana. I've talked to a lot of the Humana reps to this point, all throughout here on the Neishloss podcast and our playlist. You can certainly find any of those other shows on Humana in any other markets. But Humana really has been able to adapt and adjust, make things as easy as possible with the pandemic, helping with tools for social media marketing, things like that, all on their websites. And so Humana certainly has been a cut above the rest in that regard. Speaking with Rusty Lamb, a broker relationship manager down there in Georgia, as you can see that UGA helmet behind him as we're talking Humana down there in Atlanta and of course all around Georgia. And those benefits are absolutely big because I think, and you got to do the needs analysis as you mentioned. Not every plan is right for everyone. You got to find the one that is right for someone. But when you have a carrier like Humana, it seems like there's something for everybody. But a lot of that are benefits that now are more important than ever before to have those in your plans because people are really diving in. They're making sure they're getting the right benefits and things like the transportation. You're just not always knowing when that's going to hit you, and that's going to be really big to you as well. People think of getting sick, they go to the doctor, get taken care of there, no matter how often I have to go. Well, the transportation can be a whole nother cost to you. So that certainly can be a major benefit for sure. Now, transitioning into Humana being a cut above the rest. This is definitely something that Humana really focuses on, and I know that Humana has put an emphasis on now for years to get to this point with the veterans community. And Humana has been able to build a strong relationship of trust and support with the veteran community, and that's by offering plans and benefits and really tweaking everything to make veterans as comfortable as possible in terms of working with Humana. So what factors do you think are the biggest contributors to Humana having so much success with the veterans community, since there are other carriers that are dealing with the veterans community, but Humana really is a cut above the rest in terms of dealing with the veterans community and even promoting themselves as that way by putting such an emphasis on the veterans community. So what's contributed to that success Humana's had?
Well, I think one thing, Mike, is that we really kind of put our money where our mouth was with the veteran community. We've hired well over 1,000 veterans a year for the last several years into our organizations. And, we wanted to make it an easy place and a good place for veterans to come to work.
Right.
Not only to celebrate their service and thank them for their service, but we find that people that are veterans and have given their commitment to our country make outstanding employees. And one of those veterans that we hired here in Georgia this past year and a half ago was Alan Eden. And Alan is a Army veteran himself. He was an Army medic, served both in the Gulf War as well as working here locally and with Hurricane Katrina. And just an outstanding guy. He's well connected, in the veteran community here in Georgia, and he works and partners with a lot of our external partners to make sure that they understand how to effectively work with veterans. And that's been a big differentiator, in my opinion. Our introduction of our MA only plan in Georgia, we call it our honor plan. It's the H5216-217 plan. We enhanced that plan. It's pretty much statewide. It's in 157 out of 159 counties, only excluding 2 counties, Lowndes and Walker County. But it's got a $50 Part B premium reduction for the veterans, so we're reducing their Part B premium. And it's got really strong extra benefits. It's designed for individuals being an MA only plan, Michael, that you're not looking for drug coverage. You're getting drug coverage through the VA.
Okay.
But in addition to that $50 Part B give back, it's got $2,000 in first dollar coverage in dental, including basic, preventative, basic, and major services. It's got a really strong vision benefit, very low cost for hearing aids, over-the-counter benefit, and then silver sneakers, which is very popular among veterans. They like the gym membership, and then transportation as well. So again, it's a plan designed for veterans to work with veterans, and we've gotten great success and great leverage off this plan in 2021, and we expect to continue that growth, especially as the VFWs are reopening after the pandemic. We're seeing that reopening begin.
Right.
They're having their big meeting down in Macon, Georgia this month to elect their new leadership team for the VFW. So we're excited that those VFWs are reopening, and we hope some of your agents will engage with those VFWs. And if we have any veterans watching today, I just want to say thank you for your service.
And we definitely want to echo those sentiments in terms of thanking any veterans out there for your service. But having the VFWs open up, that's big. That actually is something that I didn't even think of, but that's absolutely perfect to bring up because you have a lot of veterans who love that experience of going to those VFWs, and that was a big hit in losing that experience, whether it be socially or mentally or physically or any of that. So that's definitely a big deal and certainly can be an opportunity for any agents out there. And I think you also hit the nail on the head in terms of these plans with Humana. I think this is something also that Humana's done well. The Humana Honor Plan and anything Humana's doing with veterans and any of these Humana plans with veterans, it doesn't mean that you have to give up the VA or push veterans away from the VA altogether. I think maybe that's where some have gone wrong in the past. They try to get someone fully away from the VA. Veterans maybe feel comfortable with the VA in some ways, but having a plan like Humana Honor can make things less complicated for you, give you tons of opportunities, give you some extra benefits, and still allow you to utilize the VA. So that's a big deal for sure. Doesn't have to ruin anything you're doing now or you've been doing, but just can bolster those benefits. Now, Rusty, I do want to ask you, because you're clearly in tune with the veteran community and Humana works heavily with the veteran community. Any advice out there you would give to agents who agree with what we're saying but are looking to get more involved in the veteran community, whether they be Humana agents or even other agents who now can be turned on to Humana because of what's going on with the veteran community? Because we do still hear from agents, there's some trepidation on, I guess, dealing with that community might be different than others, or how to broach the subject. Are you a veteran? Maybe they feel awkward in doing so, and if you don't know if someone's a veteran, you of course can't proceed. But any advice on the veteran community and agents who want to be more involved with the veteran community, especially Humana agents, because of the Humana Honor and everything you guys are doing?
Well, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. The first question you always want to ask, I think it should be part of every introduction into the home.
Right.
You're asked the question, do you have Part A and Part B? You should also ask the question, do you have Medicare and Medicaid? That's a question you want to find out, because you uncover if a person has the need for possibly a special needs plan. And my next question is always, are you a veteran? You don't have to be a veteran yourself to ask that question, but
right.
Even if you just thank them for their service, like I thanked the veterans on this podcast today for their service, you get off on the right foot on the appointment. But getting involved and entrenched in the veteran community is all about a call to action. It's going out and spending the time in the VFWs, developing relationships with the local VFWs, attending events, volunteering, and getting to know veterans. Alan Eden is a great resource for that. And we have generally a monthly webinar about veterans. We've done several so far this year, where Alan gets on the phone and helps educate agents like those on the phone today understand the difference between someone who maybe only had a couple years of service and has VA benefits versus a veteran who's had 20 years of service and retired in the military
Right.
and may have TRICARE for life. And you do treat those veterans a little differently in terms of what kind of coverage they currently have and what plan's most appropriate. But we can help answer those questions and make them feel very comfortable about working with veterans, whether or not they're a veteran themselves or not.
And I think about positioning for any agents wondering, how do you position, when do you position dealing with the veteran community or any of these veteran-tuned plans? Right away. I think that's great advice, Rusty, is you ask those traditional questions early on and then just kind of ask, are you a veteran? And if they're not, then they'll say no, and then you move on. If they are, you thank them for your service, then you let them know these opportunities and these benefits they could receive by working with Humana and by having Humana honor any of these plans here that work well with the veterans and the success that Humana has done as a carrier in terms of with the veterans. And if you don't ask, you're not going to know, and you can't assume everyone is, but you also can't assume someone is not, especially in this certain age bracket. It's very, very possible with the history of our country that there could certainly be a lot of veterans out there, and we know they are out there. Rusty Lamb here.
We know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we know a lot of those veterans that are aging into Medicare now, or
right.
In the Vietnam era, and a lot of those veterans weren't treated very well when they came back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
So it really is important to thank them from the service. Sorry, I interrupted you, Mike.
Oh, no problem. I mean, yeah, that's actually a great point because we have the world wars, but now people that are going into that 65-year age bracket are likely from Vietnam or from that era, and it might be a different. It might be a different mentality. It might be a different opinion they may have. They may have been treated differently than, say, World War II or the past world wars. So they may absolutely appreciate you asking them, thanking them, and then providing these plans. They may think you're doing them a service. They may feel that way, and you actually, in a way, are. And really, if there's a veteran out there who you don't ask if they're a veteran, and you don't allow them the opportunity to see these benefits in a plan like Humana Honor, and they just go to the VA and deal with that and, try their luck with the VA, then you're actually not serving them the best of your ability, and you're not giving them the needs that they would need. So, as I was saying, Rusty Lamb, a broker relationship manager down there in Georgia with Humana, as we've been talking about what Humana is offering, a lot with the veterans, but also a lot else in general. Certainly can hit up Rusty, his team, or us here at Neishloss to find out more. But before we close up shop here, Rusty, Humana's offering a lot. Humana's all over the market. There are plans, there are benefits. We touched on what's going on with the veteran community. And it's all going to continue and only get beefed up here as we get into the new year. And maybe we'll bring you on to talk about it again sometime soon. But nothing's fully perfect, though. There could be challenges working with certain plans and certain carriers. Some of those always exist. People are always going to try to look for those in a way. So in terms of selling Humana in Georgia, what would you say is the biggest challenge that agents need to overcome, and maybe you get told about, and what would be some advice in terms of overcoming that possible challenge?
Well, I'm going to start off by just talking about our broker relationship team. And if any of you agents attending today's podcast have a challenge or a problem that you need assistance with, our broker relationship team in Georgia, I believe, is second to none. Myself and my counterpart, Pat Murray, who handles the greater Georgia area. And then we have two outstanding broker relationship executives, both Eric Ridlin and Karen Johnson, who work out of Madison, Wisconsin. We're on the phone or in our car meeting with agents each and every day. And we just want you to know that we not only support the FMO that you work with, but we're supporting the agent on the ground. So,
right.
When you work with Neishloss and Fleming, you're getting our full support. Now, some challenges that agents are running into, quite frankly, Humana has become such a hot market. In fact, I would say probably the hottest market in the United States for Humana right now is Georgia. And with that comes competition, not only competition from our competitors, which is a good thing. They make us stronger, make our benefits richer if we know our competitors are trying to improve their product as well. But it also means there's a lot of agents flooding the market from different areas, and they're wanting to sell in Georgia because they see the success that we're having. In addition, you have national call centers. I use the Joe Namath phenomena. Joe Namath's on TV all the time.
Right.
It's really important and incumbent upon the agent to to do a great job of staying in touch with their membership. Not only assist them in understanding the benefits they have, but also help them to understand how to use those core benefits, as well as the extra benefits we talked about earlier, like healthy food card, dental, vision, over-the-counter, hearing benefit, et cetera, transportation. If they do that kind of work, they'll help ensure that the agent retains that member. And it also sets them up nicely to build a referral network so that they can take that one member that they've done a really good job with and staying in touch with and helping build a relationship with a long-time lasting relationship with that member. But they set themselves up for 2 or 3 additional referrals as well.
Right. The Joe Namath phenomenon. That's putting it perfectly. Yes, that is out there, and that certainly can become a challenge to a lot of agents based on what you're hearing from those commercials, maybe what's really going on, and it really makes even more of a necessity to really know what a carrier is offering, know what Humana is offering, know what's going on in these plans, be aware of the benefits, the plans, do the needs analysis, and ask all the questions and do your homework. So listening to podcasts like this, which are kind of spark notes and all of that, and then diving in further, very, very important. Now, I will say that Humana is a carrier that we work heavily with here at Neishloss and Fleming all across the country, but certainly down in Atlanta and in Georgia overall. Atlanta's a major market that we deal with, so is Humana. We have a lot at our disposal as well. We have Medicare Center, which is an online enrollment platform. You can kind of consolidate your business there, look up doctors, prescription drugs, use it as a quote engine if need be. We have a relationship with a former agent who now specializes in a digital marketing company where he helps agents create or maintain social media channels or a website, and we actually touched on it on a past show. It's called Snoozy, so you can also find that show through the playlist here on this YouTube channel, the Neishloss and Fleming, and that Neishloss podcast playlist channel. We have a bonus program called Greenhouse that can add extra rewards incentives on top of your normal commission. We have an in-house graphic designer who can help you make business cards, postcards, mailers, etc. We, of course, have leads at our disposal, and myself and many others who can answer questions and help you with contracting, help you get contracted by Humana, of course. So we have a lot at our disposal, including this YouTube channel that you can browse around and find what we're talking about overall and what we've discussed with what Humana is doing in other markets right here on this channel. Now, Rusty, I definitely appreciate you taking the time for sure. Any other advice you have overall to agents or anyone watching this show about what Humana is doing in Georgia, or really anything at all? You can give us another Go Dogs if you want.
Well, definitely go Dogs. But, I'd just like to say thank you, Michael, for putting this together. I think
Sure.
Neishloss and Fleming does, really prides themselves on helping their agents grow their book of business with Humana or whatever carrier that they're representing. And that, that growth, you can tell, comes from the commitment and understanding of what the agent needs. And, putting together these type of podcasts is a very important thing so that you can, understand more about the communities in which you serve. And we want to be that same type person, your broker relationship team with Humana in Georgia. We want to help you grow your business with Humana. And, if there's anything that we can do, feel free to give me a call. I'm sure that Michael can post my contact information on the podcast at the conclusion of today's call. But I just want to thank you again for hosting today's event. And we're only a phone call away.
Same here, and we'll definitely talk again soon for sure as we again move into that new year, and Humana is only going to get bigger and better based on what we've seen in recent years, to say the least. That's Rusty Lamb, a broker relationship manager with Humana down in Georgia. And that'll do it for another edition of the Neishloss podcast. So for all of us here at Neishloss and Fleming, Integrity Marketing Group, of course, Rusty Lamb with Humana, I'm Mike Asti. Until we meet again.